Welcome back to another episode of the Tech Talks Daily Podcast. I'm your host, Neil, and today we're going to be delving into the ever-evolving world of digital marketing and small business innovation. And have you ever wondered what drives a leader to steer a major tech company, or how AI is transforming the way we approach marketing? Well, you're in for a treat, because joining me today is Jim Rudall, General Manager for EMEA at Intuit Mailchimp. He's a pivotal figure in the tech world who has journeyed from aspiring musician to a leader at one of the most influential marketing platforms in the industry. And many will remember back in 2021, Intuit acquired Mailchimp for a staggering amount, marking a significant milestone in the tech world. But today, Jim's going to share his insights on the challenges and opportunities for SMBs and entrepreneurs in the UK, and also the role of AI in marketing. Not to mention the importance of personalisation in enhancing customer experiences. And hopefully we'll also get a glimpse into some of his marketing predictions for this year and beyond. So buckle up and hold on tight as I beam your ears all the way to the UK, where he's waiting to speak with us today. So a massive warm welcome to the show. Can you tell everyone listening a little about who you are and what you do?
Yeah, of course. Thanks for having me on. I'm excited to be here. I'm Jim Rudall, and I am the General Manager for Intuit Mailchimp in EMEA. So for those of you that don't know, Intuit Mailchimp is a marketing automation, email marketing platform that's been around for many, many years. That was acquired by Intuit a couple of years ago. We have hundreds of thousands of customers in the EMEA region, so Europe, Middle East and Africa. And my role here is to continue to build the business, invest in markets, and figure out how we can continue to support and empower entrepreneurs and SMBs to engage with their customers through our technology.
And I suspect anybody listening anywhere in the world over the last decade that has had any involvement in sending mass emails out, newsletters and things, they would have encountered Mailchimp at some time. I'd love to find out a little bit more information about you. What's your origin story? What attracted you to your Mailchimp role alongside other career highlights, learnings? There's got to be a backstory there, right?
Well, yeah, it's a pretty eclectic backstory now, to be honest. I mean, you're right. Mailchimp is a well-known brand. It's been around for 20 years. I've been aware of it for a while. I left school and I wanted to be a musician. So I played guitar. I moved to London to study. I wanted to be a rock star. So after a couple of years, I thought, well, it didn't quite working out quite the way I wanted it to be. So I went to study psychology, Southampton. Then I ran a pub for a year or so. Then I moved to London and joined an entry-level sales role at a tech company. I did that for a few years. Then I founded my own company with a friend from school. We grew that over a bunch of years. And then I worked in the VC-backed tech startup world, grew and sold a couple of businesses. And then about 5 years ago, I was one of the foundational leaders at Shopify, whom hopefully a lot of your listeners have heard of. And then about a year ago, I was approached by the CEO of Mailchimp, Rania, who was looking to figure out how Mailchimp could grow its EMEA business in a similar way to Shopify. And I guess I love the Mailchimp brand. I was a user of the technology when I ran my own business. And I kind of jumped at the opportunity to build something again. Like, I love building teams and being part of such a beloved brand that had so much value to the SMB community. It's a really powerful tool for entrepreneurs and SMBs who want to engage with their customers. So I got really excited about that. Ron is a very persuasive lady as well. So here I am.
What a great story. One of the reasons I always ask that, because I think there's going to be people listening all over the world. There'll be a lot of people outside of the tech industry wanting to pivot into tech and think, well, I'm not technical enough, I'm not this, and convince themselves out of it. And I love your journey there. You started as this wannabe rock star, going into psychology, running your own pub, VC world, Shopify, and then now you're a rock star in the world of tech, of course. But the world of tech, it's so welcoming to people of such a variety of backgrounds, isn't it? And I think that's something we don't hear about enough.
Yeah, so tech, I think, is about curiosity at its heart, right? And curious people with a really busy, open mind, I think would naturally navigate to a world which is there to solve problems, to break down barriers, to democratize opportunity across the world. And what I admire about tech companies of all size and nature is that they relish people with that curiosity, right? They want people who can add value to their organizations because they have inquisitive minds and they like solving problems. It's a great environment for folks like that. And I've always had a very busy mind. So it was the natural resting place for me.
It's so funny you say that because I get that question a lot. I've had 2,600 interviews here. People always say, what is the secret to these people's success? What makes them different? What do they do? And do they have a Mark Wahlberg 4 a.m. get up kind of routine? And it's simple things like curiosity, having an open mind, being open to opportunities, serendipity, and all those things. And as we start 2024, though, and the work that you're doing, there's so many businesses that are getting back together now. They're looking at how they can do things differently this year. There's a whole range of new challenges, new opportunities. And as someone that's got the ear of so many businesses around the world and so many entrepreneurs and business leaders, I'm curious, what are the biggest challenges facing SMBs and entrepreneurs here in the UK and beyond? And how do you see the SMB market developing over the next 12 months? Any trends here?
Yeah, it's a big question because I think you'd have to be living under a rock to not be aware of all of the challenges that are happening both globally and locally when it comes to the economic headwinds, the socioeconomic challenges that are impacting all everything, right? So entrepreneurs and SMBs are particularly vulnerable, I think, to those economic headwinds. They're at the whim of the operational risks and challenges that come with moving and manufacturing goods globally. They are always under pressure when it comes to capital, when it comes to cash. They don't have the scale of large organizations that provide a buffer to all of these things. And obviously, with a pinch on consumer spending, consumers are the customers of these SMBs and entrepreneurs for the most part. So but they've definitely been feeling the pinch. They've definitely been under a ton of pressure. But with that pressure, we've seen huge innovation, right? So what I admire most about small companies and entrepreneurs is their ability to innovate and to be creative when it comes to solving these problems. And so many organizations have explored and adopted technology which enables them to do things that they wouldn't be able to do. So you'd overcome these challenges or to exploit the opportunities that are available to them. There's a lot of evidence to suggest that we are approaching the end of the worst of this cycle of economic hardship, but there's a long way to go. But I think if you are an entrepreneur or you have founded and grown an SMB, you are ultimately optimistic, right? You're of an optimistic nature. That curiosity probably lends itself to that. And there are tons of opportunities for small organizations to embrace technologies like Mailchimp that allow them to do more things that they wouldn't be able to do in a really cost-effective way, like engage their customers at scale. So I spend a lot of time with owners of SMBs and entrepreneurs, and there's such a sense of optimism despite everything that's happened over the last couple of years.
Yeah, completely agree with you. We're only 3 weeks into 2024. There's been so much news. We've had CES recently where AI was everywhere and in every new device. Google is phasing out cookies. Apple are releasing a spatial computing headset. So I'm curious, how do you see things like AI impacting how businesses do their marketing this year? Because there seems to be both challenges and huge opportunities, especially as Google begins phasing out cookies, as I said a few moments ago. But what do you see here? Any trends here too?
Oh, totally. AI, we like to think will have a huge impact on how businesses power their marketing this year. And by the way, I've never been to CES. I really want to go. It looks amazing. But I think about AI in a couple of ways. Firstly, if you're a small business, but you have some marketing capability, some marketing expertise in your organization, AI will allow that marketing function to be way more creative, exponentially more creative. It'll create the space for them to be creative because it will either remove or massively reduce the amount of time it takes to do the manual work, right? the setting up of campaigns, the administration around reporting, and all of the functional work that has to be done before you can get to the creativity. The space of creativity will massively increase. The second way I think about it is, if you're an entrepreneur or a small business that doesn't yet have that marketing capability, it enables you to deliver marketing campaigns at scale with little or no expertise at all. So AI will enable you to create content, to create campaigns, to power those campaigns and give you insights and results into how your customers are engaging with them and drive revenue, even if you don't have that expertise to begin with. So it's going to be a huge enabler for small businesses and entrepreneurs to run marketing campaigns and to augment any marketing capability that they might have already. And I see it as a real democratization of the space, right? Allowing these smaller companies to punch upwards, if you like, and have expertise or deliver marketing capability that they otherwise wouldn't be able to. And in this very competitive space, that's hugely valuable.
Completely agree. And I think it was about a decade ago, it was somebody, the leader at IBM said that the last best experience that we have anywhere becomes the standard expectation for every future experience everywhere. And personalization is a huge topic right now. And of course, in our lives, we have Amazon know what we want to buy next. Netflix knows what we want to watch. Spotify knows the perfect playlist based on our tastes. So can you tell me a little bit more about the importance of personalization in enhanced customer experiences, and maybe share some insights from Mailchimp's recent, I think there was a holiday report over the holiday seasons, and also the Cluster campaign, which is incredibly cool too. Can you share any insights from those?
And the award-winning Cluster campaign, I think.
Yes. Yeah, of course. Sorry, I missed that one.
Yeah. So that personalization it has been for a long time. I've been working in e-commerce and MarTech for longer than I care to remember now, and personalization has always been incredibly important. How do you get to that idea of the segment of one? How do you create a message that's tailored to an individual? And yeah, we got some really good insight from our holiday report. 73% of customers feel more valued when they received a personalized or tailored message. And that's super important when you're fighting for the attention of those customers in a really competitive space. 87% are more likely to engage with that content, more likely to click, more likely to follow the call to action. And most interestingly, I thought 3/4 or 3 out of 4 people who responded said they're more likely to give over their personal information if there was transparency in how it was going to be used. So if you're honest with your customers about how you're using that information and the benefit of it, then you're far more likely to get that value exchange. And leading on to the Cluster campaign, that was designed to highlight the challenges or the pitfalls of marketing without that level of segmentation, without that level of personalization. So what we find is that a lot of marketers who either don't have the tools or don't have the capability to really understand their customers, either through data or through how they segment their audience, end up with customers instead of customers. So customers being this kind of amorphous blob of insight, or amorphous blob of unknowns rather than insight, as opposed to a really deep understanding of your customer. So we talk a lot about how Mailchimp, with its advanced reporting, its advanced segmentation, enables you to create customers instead of customers. It's a very cool idea. And over the last year, we've released over 150 new features and functions into the platform to allow marketers to do that. So advanced segmentation tools, advanced personalization tools, some of it AI driven, some of it not. And this leads to big outcomes in terms of the metrics and KPIs that marketers are looking for. So 7 times more orders through having automated journeys baked into your campaigns, 50% uplifts in various KPIs when it comes to engagement. We have 50 plus behavior-based triggers baked into the platform now, which allows you to really understand and react to how your customers are behaving when it comes to their engagement with you. So personalization has always been important. It will continue to be just as, if not more important. And now we have some tools to enable marketers to get to where they need to be.
And for anybody listening, I urge they check that Cluster campaign report. There's so many useful insights in there, especially around how you guys are helping marketers untangle the customer problem. It's almost an episode entirely on its own, so we won't go into it too much now, but I will put links for anyone listening to find out more information. And as we progress through the year, are there any other marketing predictions or trends for 2024 that you see on the horizon? I appreciate asking any kind of predictions in the current climate is almost impossible. I mean, 18 months ago, nobody saw ChatGPT coming. Things move that quickly now. But anything you do see on the horizon?
Well, I'm reminded of a quote by a famous football manager who said, "I don't make predictions and I never will," which I've always found very funny. So I think all of the stuff that's happening around data privacy, the new or ongoing data privacy GDPR legislation that's coming out of the UK and the EU, and adding in the nascent technology that is AI. This is going to be where most of the conversation is, right? How do we use AI responsibly in order to drive the outcomes that we want to see, whilst paying close attention to the demands of the consumer when it comes to data privacy? And what we're going to try and do is educate and inform our customers or our market as much as we can to help them understand how to manage this, right? How do you make sense of the changes to the cookie and privacy laws, and how do you use AI and marketing technology in the right way in order to A, stay ahead, and B, continue to innovate and engage with our customers? That's right. I feel most of the conversation is going to be over the next 12 months. There will always be exciting new tools and technology, and we will always be looking to enhance and innovate within our platform. But so much of the conversation is based around understanding the consumer in a world where they are incredibly protective of their data. And I see that being the thread of most things this year.
Exciting times ahead. And we spoke a few moments ago around the level of customer expectations and also the challenges for businesses at meeting those and exceeding them and setting new standards. So how do you think customer expectations will continue to evolve this year?
Yeah, I mean, I had this phrase the competition for eyeballs, right? Very cool phrase. I don't know who came up with it, but that feels to me like a really good description for customer expectation. There is a screen available in all sorts of different formats for every single consumer that you might ever want to engage with, either a laptop, a computer monitor, iPad, a phone. So the competition for attention is going to be huge, and the way in which you present and engage with those consumers is going to be the most important, because their expectation is that they are giving over their data in some way, and you would understand what that data, what insights it provides, and give them an experience based on the information that they've shared, right? So consumer expectation is always high, and we're very demanding, right? We want things, we want them quickly, and we want to feel like we are the most important thing in any business's life, and that's going to get more and more relevant, not just with the proliferation of companies trying to engage and provide products and services, but also with the continuing and increasing awareness of personal finances, right? I think the last couple of years, people have got super aware of what they're spending and where they're spending their money. So the ability to engage and tailor an experience to those customers and help you understand how you serve them better with all of these things that are going on right now in mind will mean that you're able to meet those incredibly high expectations that a consumer has, not just of your products and services, but your brand, right? How you talk about yourself when it comes to the individual.
And I know there is a passionate Mailchimp community out there, many of which will be hanging on your every word. So you might have to be careful how much you do share with me today. But is there anything you can share, any teasers or anything that we can expect from Mailchimp this year?
Yeah, I mean, we're going to be continuing to iterate and evolve in many ways. As I said a minute ago, 150 new and updated features just in the last year. Much of that has happened since I joined in April, right? So it's been an incredible journey so far. So we'll continue to look at enhancing our AI capabilities. We're looking at new tools for service-based businesses. So any any SMB or entrepreneur who delivers a service as well as a physical product, we'll be looking to support them. And what my intention is as a leader in this region is to bring a program of education into that community. So a more relevant understanding of the local business context. So in the UK or in the Nordics or in Spain or in France or in Germany, I cover all that territory, but also at a local level in the UK, and run more localized educational content, not just on the things that we've discussed, but also how Mailchimp is deploying its resources to support. That's why I'm here, to serve the region in a more localized way.
And a question I've got to ask, especially as you said at the very beginning of the episode today, you're someone with a curious mind. What, on a personal level, what tech trends excite you right now?
Well, curious mind is another way of saying nerd, which I definitely am, right? So I'm really obsessed by a couple of things. Well, 3 things right now. Speech to text technology, right? This is partly powered by AI. I've always struggled with getting my thoughts down on paper, and I've invested a lot of time in speech to text technology to get all of this stuff out of my mind and be a bit more of a coherent communicator. Secondly, health and well-being technology. So I used the Zoe technology. Are you familiar with Zoe?
Where you put the patch on your arm and it monitors your health? Is that
exactly the one? Yeah, like personalized or personal insights into individual biology and biochemistry and nutrition. I was amazed by the insight it was able to give on me, and the ongoing ability to tweak your personal nutrition and react to changes in your body chemistry, I find incredible. And I also think about the amount of data it's creating as more people adopt this technology, which can be used to preempt detrimental health conditions and advise and educate. I'm very, very excited about that. I've also got 4 kids. One of whom is about to do his GCSEs. The technology that's being deployed for education, I think, is getting really interesting. A lot of what he does now when it comes to revision is tailored content delivered electronically in different forms, which speak to how an individual learns, as opposed to kind of template delivery of educational material. So that gets me very excited.
You've got me intrigued now. I'm going to have to check it out, Zoe. I signed up to the newsletter a while ago. I was wondering what kind of insights it gets, so I'll be checking that out as well. And finally, there's a real pressure on everyone to be in a state of continuous learning now. So a question I've got to ask you, because you seem to have your finger in so many pies and spinning so many plates, where or how do you self-educate to keep up to speed with some of these trends?
Well, it helps I don't need much sleep. So that's not for everyone. I get like maybe 5 or 6 hours of sleep a night, so I maybe have a bit more time. But so I discovered podcasts and audiobooks about 10 years ago, and that really changed my ability to learn at scale, at the velocity of information I could consume. Because, I'm busy, I've got a job, I've got kids, I've got family. So I found it quite hard to find space to sit down and just read or learn. So I've always got an earphone in and a podcast or an audiobook, huge variety of content. I'm reading about the history of Russia right now, for example, or listening to it.
Yeah.
And also, I'm really fortunate to be part of a large organization, and B, an organization that has a large community. And that means I get to meet new people all the time. And I find being really intentional about creating new connections, asking lots of curious questions of those new people you meet is a way not only of learning from them, but also they'll direct you to other places to learn from, right? They might recommend a book, they might recommend a podcast, or they might recommend that you go and meet this other person who's got more interesting things to say. So just consuming audio content wherever I can and constantly, and meeting new interesting people whenever I can. That's how I do it.
Yeah, I'm exactly the same. That dead time, whether it be a dog walk, a run, or even shopping or washing the dishes. There's so many different things. You can just have one earphone in and be learning as you do that stuff. It's incredible. And for anyone listening, just wanting to find out more information about anything we talked about today, where would you like to point everyone listening?
Head to Mailchimp.com. We have localized versions of that none of that's like available in most of the countries in Western Europe. There's a company newsroom section on there where you can absorb all of our recent updates, blogs, resources, etc. And get in touch. Right? I've got a team of people they're based in London, based in Germany, based in Ireland, and that team's going to continue to grow. And they'd love to talk. Right? They'd love to hear about your experience. They'd love to learn more about what you think, not just of marketing automation, but customer engagement in general.
Well, I'll add the links to that, plus the reports we mentioned today as well in the show notes so people can find you nice and easily. And we did cover a lot today, from how the SMB market will develop over the next 12 months, how customer expectations are changing, how AI is impacting the way businesses do their marketing, the importance of personalization in customer experience, but also washed down with your fantastic backstory there, and also that curiosity and thirst for learning and knowledge. It's incredible. But thank you so much for sharing your story today.
Oh, pleasure, Neil. Thanks for having me on. Really enjoyed it. Appreciate your time.
And that wraps up another insightful episode of Tech Talks Daily. Huge thank you to Jim for joining us today, sharing his invaluable insights into the future of small business marketing, the impact of AI and personalization. I think it's fascinating to see how technology continues to shape the way businesses connect with their customers and that ever-evolving landscape in digital marketing. But as we ponder over some of Jim's predictions and the role of AI in marketing, what do you think the future holds for your business? Are you ready to embrace these changes and innovate? Love to hear your thoughts. Please share them with me. Email techblogwriter@outlook.com, Twitter, LinkedIn, Instagram, just @NeilCHughes. And don't forget to join me again tomorrow, bright and early. I'll be here waiting in your podcast feed with another interview. But until then, keep innovating and see you next time on the Tech Talks Daily podcast.